Brooke with the Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to do another video on planting a garden because I just finalized the design for the potager garden for next year. And so it's a little bit bigger than I was originally planning and a little bit more complex, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not, I have time to create what I want. It's not like I'm rushing it. There's no end date. So I'm gonna take my time and do it slowly, but let me show you what I have. Okay guys, so here is the design. So this is my big graph paper. It is 2 feet by like 2.5 feet. I drafted it on this because with the size garden that I'm designing it's really hard to do on the quilting graph pad. So this garden, the dimensions are going to be 54 feet by 72. So on the big graph paper, each one of these blocks is 4 feet. So it's 14 across and 18 down. Now, as you can see, I've made the design into 2 segments. And so this is going to be a potager garden. So potager garden, it's a French vegetable garden, but the French version of the vegetable garden is a little bit more ornamental than the traditional vegetable garden. There's a mixture of, you know, typical fruits, vegetables, and herbs, but there are also cutting flowers. So you kind of intermingle the two. So it's supposed to be, I guess, more of like a marriage of, you know, form and function, I guess you would say. So now on the paper, I've delineated where certain things are. So for example, this little box that is right here, this is the Bilco doors on the side of my house. And this down here, these are the doors off my breakfast room. So I forgot how I calculated that. Oh, you know, I think I took measurements from the inside. That's how I did that. So because obviously I got to plan the entire design around those 2 things. So up here, I've got a bunch of beds. I had the dimensions wrong, so I had to redraw this one section because I forgot what I had done, but I messed up. So I redid it. So these beds are going to be, I think, almost 20 feet long or that sort of thing. So it'll give me a lot more growing space. It'll be probably about double what I have now. Okay, now this section down here, I'm sure you see all these concentric circles and it probably looks like, oh, it's a bullseye. Okay, so this is, I'm doing a maze garden. I have always been fascinated by them. And so it is well, actually, it's not a maze, it's a labyrinth. And so there is a difference. The difference between a maze and a labyrinth is that with a maze, you have a path, but there's multi-branches, you know, there's dead ends and that sort of thing. A labyrinth is something different. A labyrinth, there's one way in and one way out. In some cultures, the labyrinth was supposed to be like a meditative guide. So you were supposed to, I guess, meditate on certain things going in to get to the center and then coming back out. So this is a labyrinth because you're not going to get lost in it. There's only one way to get to the center and one way to get out. So those are the differences. So this particular labyrinth is built, is kind of, my inspiration was what's called the Chartres Circle. It's C-H-A-R-T-E-S, and I'll put it up on the screen. So with the Chartres Circle, it is a round design. Now the difference between a Chartres Circle is that it's not usually done in a garden. It's done like in an actual building. So basically, you know, the lines, you're just like walking around the lines, but there's no separation between the lines. You know, obviously for a garden, I wanted there to be, you know, each walking path to be separated by a flower bed. And so that's something that you're not going to see in a Chartres Circle, but this is for a garden, not the, you know, this is not a traditional Chartres Circle. So the way I did it was that I used a compass and I opened it to its full setting, which was 6 inches. So in this design, that would be, I guess, about 20, hold on a second, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, okay, 24. Okay, so the circle is going to be 24. And then, as you can see, there's this next line right here. Okay, that next line is 3 feet in, so that's the path. And then this section right here is 5 feet, so that's a bed. And then we have a 3-foot path, 5-foot bed, 3-foot path, and then this is the center. Okay, so the way that you do a Chartres circle, actually there's 2 different ways you could draft this design. And so, but for all of them, the way you start out is, okay, so there's going to be 2 entrances sort of to this design. I'm still deciding on which exact one I'm going to do because there's one where you enter one side and then you exit the other side, and there's some where you basically walk in one way and you walk out the exact same way. So that's what I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to do. But to do the Chartres circle, the way I create the meandering path is like, see right here is the opening. This is 4 feet. So I just kind of put these lines here going all the way into the circle, and I will neaten this up once I show you how I draft it. Just trying to make sure I stay in frame. Okay, so I marked the path all the way through because I'm going to show you how the design turns. Okay, so for example, if we come in this way and we start going this way, okay, so I'll erase that here so you can see how the walking path is going to go. So this path becomes unbroken right here. And you're going to walk all the way around down here. And if we're doing one way in and the opposite direction out, when you get to this point, instead of coming to this section, the next path is going to start right here, 3 feet in, which is really not, well, right now, like I said, I'll clean it up. And you're going to go up here to the next path. And then the arrow is going to walk this way. And you're going to go straight up this way till you get to this section. And then when you get to this part, you're going to come down again. And then you're going to go around until you get to this point right here. And at which point you're going to go up and you're going to go into the center of the circle. Okay, and so the plan is to have some benches and stuff there. Now to exit, you're going to exit up here, and you're essentially going to do this in reverse. And hang on, I just confused myself, hang on. Okay. Okay, yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. Yes, so we're going to come up this way. Yes, here we go. So we're going to come this way. So the exit is this way. We're going to come this way. And we're going to go here. And then we're going to come to the next section, cross that bed, and go up this way. We get to this point, we're going to go up. And then at this point, we're going to come down this section. And then we're going to come out. And so that is how you do in one way, out the other. Now, the other way that you can do this, and let me see if I can, actually, let me erase my marks and come back on. Okay, so we're starting back from scratch. So the other way, where there's like one long way to get in and then you go back the entire way, is to do it this way. So using that plan, we're going to enter down at this point. And like I said, seeing how these two things do kind of are connects up here, you'll be able to get out that way if you really have to, you know. I mean, it's not that big, so it's not like, you know, but I know typically with like mazes or labyrinth, there tends to be like a shortcut, quick way to get out. And so like, for example, with the door here, you can enter if you need to, you can exit, you know, quickly if you need to. So we're going to start from this end. And so we see this point right here. And so we'd enter this way, like so. And this time we're going to go up like so, all the way around. And then once we get to this point right here, then we're going to go up to the next ring. And then you're going to go back this way until you get to this point, which is where I've kind of marked the stopping place. And then you're going to go up to the next ring. And then, yeah. Just making sure. And then, of course, you go into the center. And so basically it looks like this. So up, around, down, up, around, down, up, around, and the center. And then to get out, you just do it in reverse. So those are the two ways that I like it. Now, if I had a lot more space, like for example, if I had land that was like 300 by 300, you could have more circuits to walk. You could, there's some other Chartres circles where you kind of divide it in quarters and there's more paths in each like quadrant, but you know, I don't have that kind of space. So I'm doing with what space I have. But I did at one point draft one that would work for like 100 by 100 area. And it had obviously it had a lot more, you know, up and down and all around. So those are the two versions of the Chartres Circle that I'm considering. So I'm not really sure which one I'm going to do yet. But once I figure it out, I probably will draft both. And actually, you know what? I think I did draft the one in and out version already. And let me see. I think it's the page in front of this. Okay, guys. So now that I've given you the broad overview in terms of how I draft it, let me show you one that I've already finished. So this is, like I said, this is one possible design for the maze. I've already drawn the little stepping stones on, and as you can see, I did black from one side, red for the other side, so you kind of know which one is entering and exiting, though it just really depends upon which way you enter the maze. So that's the way that one looks like. So I think on the page I just showed you, where I was illustrating how you create it, I think I'm going to draft that one as one way in, one way out. Since I drew the other plan that I just showed you with, one way in and then a different way out, I think I'm just going to draw this one with, there's only one way, it's the same way in is the same way out, just so you guys can see. So these I've decided are going to be the final dimensions. If you notice with the other one, I didn't have this top portion because I was considering a different design. But I think part of the issue with the one I just showed you is that I forgot about the Bilko doors, and so that kind of altered where I could put things. And so I decided to drop it down so I didn't have to worry about the Bilko doors interfering with my design. Because I think I was thinking of putting this circle up closer to this part and putting the vegetables towards the back. But quite frankly, the Bilko doors is a much bigger problem than the French doors, because those actually open inside the house, not outside, even though I depicted them outside. So I have not made a decision in terms of what plants and that sort of thing I'm going to put there. obviously I'll update you guys when I do. I can tell you that there are going to be some espalier fruit trees that I'm definitely going to plant. And I saw this one design where somebody had done an espalier with a kind of like almost like a tunnel, like an archway you could walk through. So I'm trying to get a price on it, but if not, I may have to see if I can if I can start, can do it myself. But this is it. And so I hope you guys found it useful. I hope you guys find it interesting. This is probably, it's definitely a more audacious garden design, but hey, you know, why not? It should be a little bit fun, right? So, please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that other people can find it. And better yet, share it, because I don't know, maybe somebody else is looking for unusual garden design. But that's what I did. I decided I was going to do a labyrinth. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.